I'm looking for us to come up, and there we are. And let me start the. Oh, hold on. I got to get my share going here. Advanced and computer audio. And here we go. Okay, let's do this. Can you hear?
I can.
Let's dance. Come on, Pras. I never saw you dance. Oh, he dances. Oh, he's... All right, you're a cool dude. You've already qualified. That's it. You can dance with me. You're cool. You've never seen me dance either.
Oh, no.
Coming up to it is the drum roll. I left my drumsticks in the other room. Bop, 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 bop. Thank you very much to Serge Hoffman, who used to be at SAP, and he is independent. He is a musician. He's a composer, and those are my lyrics, and he is singing, and he created the music. I'm so delighted today to welcome Pras C. We go by last initials, but it's Chatterjee. I'll mention that once. Pras and I have worked together on radio shows, early days. I started something called Coffee Break with Game Changers for SAP, and Pras and his team came on board with Financial Excellence with Game Changers. And Pras, I'm positive that for years people thought we were going to show them how to balance their checkbook and buy cheaper gasoline for their cars. Financial Excellence. Pras, welcome. How are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for having me here, Bonnie. Loving it.
Well, we've had 2 minutes in, and I'm glad you're loving it already. This is my conversation, Joe, just one-on-one, just getting to know each other. And I am delighted that my cool dudes are sharing so much of who they are with me. So let me, Pras, I have a special greeting for you that I created with my virtual assistant. That's all I'll say about her. Her name is Sylvia Speed, and I'll tell you later who she is. She's virtual, and that's a clue. And everybody has one, but I named her, and we speak in French a lot. Okay. I'll tell you later. So here we go. Listen up, and then you'll fill in the blanks of something if I left anything out. You may know us well, Bonnie D and Pras C too. Seasoned in life, we love what we do. From LinkedIn's halls to social's embrace, we love sharing insights in our savvy people space. Now here on We Dish, we're here to play, lightening up life in our uniquely fresh way. Welcoming Pras C, a very cool dude I'm proud to call my friend. Here's my rhyming intro, then more details he may lend. The story of Pras C, a lifetime of motivation and exploration. When Bonnie D speaks with Pras, she knows he's a singular sensation. From Toronto, okay, so far so good, you're still with me.
So far so good, yeah.
From Toronto's heart, where the winters are cold, a young boy named Pras was raised with traditions bold. The son of two dreamers from Kolkata's land, they built a new life with a future well planned. In North York streets, Pras learned and grew with books in his hands and big dreams too. Grade 13, the Ontario way, a step ahead for a brighter day. A pianist first, with fingers that danced through classical notes, Pras's skills enhanced. Yet numbers and ledgers soon took the stage as education shaped his next career page. Pras's first job came with a Disney delight, wearing a cardigan and smiling so bright, singing for guests a Mickey Mouse tune, though high school peers would sometimes swoon. To Waterloo first, but numbers felt wrong, so Western called, where Pras found his song. Economics became his chosen career fate, yet accounting still knocked at Pras's gate. With Nabisco first, Pras sharpened his mind, then Clarity Systems where he'd soon find that software and finance could intertwine. A life in consulting became his design. Then SAP called, Pras, and Pras's world took flight. From London's charm to Beijing's bright light. Across the globe he'd work, he'd roam, yet travel would always bring him home. In 2006, Pras wed Bidisha, his heart's delight. A love for adventure, their passion took flight. Their honeymoon plans took an unplanned twist. Yet Dubrovnik still made it onto their list. From London to Rome by train, sea, and air, every detour just added more magic to share. Later, with daughters Reina and Sabine in tow, they roamed the world, let curiosity grow. Israel with Reina, a trip to behold, Beirut's upheaval, escaped like pure gold. New Year's in Bali, Rio's bright lights, Olympics in France, endless dream-worthy nights. Through marathons run with passion and pace, New York's bold streets, Pras's heart's in the race. Now vegan in life, with a pickleball spin, he's seeking new goals with that fire within. A man of the world with stories to tell, Pras is a cool dude whom the title fits well. So join us for more tales that captivate as we dish with wit right out of the gate. What'd you think?
Love it. I'm gonna have to get that and share that across the world. That was amazing. My life
I'll
was just
send you the clip.
yeah,
I'll send you the clip because I don't send the text because it won't mean as
yeah.
much without me. And now let me finish. We're here on We Dish, chatting on life's score, culture, music, food, and oh, so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night. Well, we won't be here, but that's what on demand means. Enjoy our dishing with shared delight. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are. We know. We Dish, too saucy dame and cool dude too. Bonnie D and Pras C dishing on life's fun, a little French. Pour vous. So, how'd we do?
Two thumbs up right there.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'll tell you who Sylvia is later, but you were very kind. You sent me your long, 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 long origin story bio, and I gave it to Sylvia, and I said, let's have a lot of stanzas and a lot of rhymes. And she came back
Make
to
some
me.
she made magic.
She did. And then I went through and I said, nope, you missed the part about his marriage. You missed the part about the honeymoon. Let's do more. And I said, just throw it in. We got 12 more lines out of that one. And then we added your daughters and we got 4 more lines out of that one. And then I went and edited it. I want you to know it's all human too. So there we go. Pras, I'm beyond delighted. I didn't know you played the piano. I didn't know you were vegan. I have worked with you for what, 12 years, and I didn't know
Yeah.
maybe 10% of this. So is there anything I left out of the intro?
Um, wow, I think you captured most of it. The only one is at one point I was a CrossFit fanatic and I've given up that life, but I only throw that out there because there are some of us out there in your audience, some of us that are crazy enough to do that. But yes, that was once in my life.
Well, my goodness, great. Is there
Yes,
anything you haven't done? Well, you'll come back on part two and you'll
yes,
tell us
yeah.
the rest. So there. So let's go to it. I'd love to know your favorite cool dude song, something that means something to you, music that you say makes me cool because I like that music, or something that just resonates with you. Pras, what are your top songs? Give me a couple.
You know what? I thought about that, and I think I started with, and I think everybody likes the song. It's a high energy song. It's from 1985. I didn't really get into it till 87, and people look at me and they're like, "There's no way that's you." But "Welcome to the Jungle" from Guns N' Roses. I mean, it starts up with this killer introduction. It sucks you in. It just energizes you. I think it's just one of those songs. If you just need to get up and go, you play it, and it hits you, and it hits you hard. And the crazy thing is, I saw them live in concert 6, 7 years ago in New York in Madison Square Gardens, and they've aged, and so have I. But they still have that energy, and I feel I can have that energy as well.
You certainly can, and you certainly do. I think you could teach them a few things about energy. We'll have to arrange that. Okay, give me a couple more songs. What have you got?
Yeah, another one to contrast with was, and I don't know how much the audience will like that, but there is a West Coast rapper by the name of Ice Cube. I think he's more of a movie star now. He
Mm-hmm.
maybe social activist, but in the '90s he was I guess what people might call back then a gangster rapper. And then Dr. Dre came about, and he had that whole G-funk music beat to him, and a lot of people started taking that beat. And Ice Cube had his first foray into that in one of his earlier albums, and he came up with a song called "It Was a Good Day." And the song is really about, instead of all the negativity and life that was going on back then, it was just about how one day just happened to be a good day, and it had a nice mellow beat to it. And there's also this subculture behind it, because there's at some point he's talking about how it was a good day that these things happened. He went to play some basketball, and then the Lakers beat the Supersonics. So people started going back into 1992, 93. What day did the Lakers beat the Supersonics, and looking at scorecards? But then how did that contrast with the weather and the vibe? And there wasn't a single murder that day either. And so it's people are now trying to figure out what day and there's actually some people that have identified the exact date that he might have been talking about.
Wow, that's very interesting. One more song. What have you got?
One more song, just to again throw it all in loop. One of my favorite singers, and is Sarah Brightman, and I just love her voice. And I actually once sat front row center at one of her concerts in
Wasn't she
Toronto.
married to Andrew Lloyd Webber?
She was, and he actually a lot of the music he wrote was meant for her. And even I think after they parted ways, they still remained close. And she sung so many of his show tunes, I guess if you want to call it that. And one of the ones I love is "No Some Dorme" from Puccini.
Mm-hmm.
I know Pavarotti was one of the first to sing it and made it famous, but of course
True.
we all know that version. But she
Mm-hmm.
has her own twist on it as well. And it's just such a, it's just one of those songs that's so powerful. Starts off low and then just captures you with the voice, and she has that voice to be able to get to you as well.
Beautiful song, absolutely. So you've got quite a range of music. I'm going to share mine with you, and I
Okay.
usually do the same songs, but I was a big Donna Summer fan back
Okay.
in the day of the disco era, and I was teaching disco line dances and disco and ballroom and Latin dancing. I was in Eugene, Oregon, and I entered some contests with my professional dance partner. And over the years, I realized that the Donna Summer discography, I love that word because I can pronounce it without, hyphens and all that. It pretty much tells my story. She works hard for the money, and I do. Hot stuff, even though it was about girls on the street, I wasn't, but I've been called hot stuff on occasion. On the radio, look at me, right? How many years? How many shows? No More Tears. Enough is enough is enough is enough. Yeah, I've had my share. Last Dance. Well, I don't dance much anymore except to the electric slide that Alexa plays for me in the kitchen.
Can you do the electric slide?
Oh yeah, I was. Would you
Oh,
believe when I was working at Chase Manhattan
yeah.
Bank in downtown? I was working with some high-powered executives. We're talking well-paid, high-powered global cash management was the division, and I was asked to teach the electric slide to a group of executives who had to go to a retreat somewhere, and they wanted to. And I got a conference room and we cleared the tables out and I taught them. Why? Do you want me to teach you?
You know what? I watch it, and I think I'm not very coordinated in that manner. I'm not a great dancer, and I would love to learn. Like I just see, I think it's making a bit of a resurgence now. Certain parties, you see it. It's,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it.
It's four steps of da 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 da
Yeah.
da da da, and then four steps back to the left, standard, and then line dance, and then back four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you dip down and point your toe and back. That's four, and then you turn and pivot to your left, 90 degrees, and you tap out the rest of the four, and then you start again. Four to the right, four to the left, four back, dip down. We'll get a private showing here one
All
of
right.
these days. I would love to. Anyway, so those are and then Heaven Knows, I Feel Love, which had the Giorgio Moroder, the machine in the back,
Yeah.
da, 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 I Feel Love, and Heaven Knows from the MacArthur Park Suite. Those are mine. And a couple others are Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar, Respect, Aretha Franklin. I'm still waiting for that. I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor, New Attitude, Patti LaBelle. And there's a song by Janelle Monáe. I'm not that familiar with her,
Okay.
but I love to see her. And it's Q period, U period, E period, E period, and Queen with periods. And the line I like, Pras, is she who writes the movie owns the script and the sequel.
Ooh,
I think you can tell that to your daughters. What do
yes,
you
that's a
think?
powerful line.
That's a very powerful line. So we've done our songs. Now, your creativity superpower. What do you have one that you're aware of? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Does it ever get you in trouble? What do you do?
So my creativity superpower, unfortunately, resides in um, my work. I'm in product marketing, and so I'm good with descriptions, I guess, verbs, adjectives, nouns, putting that together and come up with powerful statements that just, help our customers and things like that. I know it's not very exciting, so that's along those lines. I would say that on the creativity side, and man, I'm not saying this is good. This is really pushing the creativity of things. I'm the only one in my family that's vegan. And because of that, I think my taste buds have morphed. And my children see what I put into my smoothie and they're like, we're not sure if that's creative or disgusting. And I'm like, it's creative. I call it creative, damn it.
You said disgusting. You lowered your voice. What disgusting? Yeah, I heard
Yes.
that. So what do you? Come on, we want a recipe. What do you put in your vegan shakes? Come
Oh
on,
my
give us a
God.
little.
It's, I
Give us
start
a
with
little.
soy milk. I start with soy milk, and then I put plant protein, then I put chia seeds. So far, so good. Maybe some spinach, nothing wrong with that. But then I put cayenne pepper
Okay.
just to get a bit of a kick. Then I put
Hmm.
turmeric just to add a little bit more
Who doesn't love
kick to it.
turmeric?
Right. Then I put berries and maybe a banana. So far, so good. But then it's where it starts getting, I put some bitter melons in, some hemp seeds, whatever else I can find in the fridge that's green and that might be going bad. I've put in, I've seen bok choy going bad. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw it in there. When it blends, it all goes down the same way anyway. Nobody, no, and I'm doing it for me. And I'm doing nobody drinks smoothies for the taste. They drink it for the nutrition because they've gone, and I'm just telling myself that again, am I creative or am I crazy? I don't know. I'll let the audience decide.
You are crazily creative. I love
Yeah,
it. By the way, my morning is a milkshake with what you started out with, except for the protein powder. It's usually 1% milk, and it would be I'm buying frozen fruit because it's hard to get fresh fruit this time
yeah,
of the year. So it might be some peaches and strawberries and blueberries and raspberries. And I also keep a bag of frozen sliced strawberries. And then I buy 9 bananas a week. I try to get a couple green ones so that they don't go too ripe.
yeah.
I won't buy a banana. You should see me in the supermarket examining the bananas. If they have any marks on them or any holes in them or if they have any spots on them, I put them back. I'll break off. You got to give me a bunch of 9 and I'll break off
Right.
the 3 that I want. So I'm very, very fussy. So a whole banana and the milk. Sometimes I cheat and put a little bit of vanilla ice cream in and then some
Oh, okay.
dark cocoa,
Yes.
just a couple sprinkles because it goes well with the fruit and the strawberries. And then to top it off, I add raw agave syrup, which I buy in a bottle, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
instead of sugar. So it's
Yeah,
agave, and it's called organic and raw. I don't know
yeah,
what it is, but it's sweet. It's almost like maple syrup, but has a slightly different flavor. I
yeah,
add that, and I have an individual Hamilton Beach blender, the kind that you push the button and it
yeah.
pulses. It doesn't stay on or off, and I'll blend that for about a minute and a half, and then I put a reusable plastic straw. Who was it? Was it Bill Maher or John Stewart? Somebody said the resurgence of the pipe cleaner industry because when you buy the plastic straws, they come with a pipe cleaner
Yeah.
and you clean them that way. So I have those, and then I drink it here in my office in my broadcast studio, and that makes me very happy. So I'm starting out with the basis of what you
Yeah.
have, but I just
Oh,
don't add the
I got
bug.
to get one of those Hamilton Beaches because I have a Vitamix right now, and when you launch that thing, it sounds like there's a 747's taking off.
Yep, I know. Try Hamilton Beach has them. This is my
Okay.
third one. After a while, they start to leak. I use them all the time.
Yeah.
And the funny story is, I was buying a Christmas present for somebody I was dating many years ago when I was at Sears on Long Island. Remember Sears Roebuck?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had a shelf in the basement of this local Sears, and it had all kinds of appliances. One or two of this, two or three. It wasn't a big organized department. And I saw this thing, and it was a personal blender, and I bought it for this man, and he didn't like it. So I figured rather than return it, it was like $12 at the
Yeah.
time, and not anymore. I started using it, and I fell in love with it. Not with him so much, but with the blender.
Right.
And over the years, I've had a white one, I've had a red one, and if it starts to leak, I order a new one, and they're a lot more expensive now, but they're wonderful. So there you go. So now we've shared our breakfast. Now that goes with. I was going to ask you what you eat for breakfast that powers your day, but it sounds like we've already covered that. So let's talk about coffee or tea. What do you like, brewed or instant, tea bags or leaves, caffeine, decaf, homemade, Starbucks, latte, espresso, cappuccino, quantity, quality, how often, and how do you drink it? Russ?
So this comes in two parts. So the morning always starts off with a coffee, simple, just I buy my Starbucks blend, or actually now I'm using a Canadian coffee brand Balzac's. It's French roasted, but it's from Toronto. Just and the store is just down the street from me, and just make a cup for myself. Just get me through the morning. Afternoon is always maybe it's a bit of an odd choice, but it's black tea, and it's Mariage Ferrer's French breakfast tea black. No sugar, no milk or anything. Actually, no sugar, no milk in my coffee as well. I just like them
Mm,
both straight up, and that's
yep.
just how I drink it. And yeah, tea, loose leaves as well for the tea.
What kind of tea?
So it's a French Mariage Fresh French breakfast tea. It's like a blend of different black tea. So I think there's some Assam, there's some Ceylon in there, some Darjeeling as well, with some aromatic flavors as well. So I think you get a hint of orange out of it as well. But it's got a
Mm.
nice, yeah. I mean, that's why I love Mariage Fresh teas. If you ever get a chance to get it somewhere, I mean, just smell it. I mean, it's strong, but the smell is enough to just overcome any taste is challenges you might have with the strength of the taste.
Unfortunately, I can't do caffeine anymore. So I
Oh,
even
okay.
even decaf coffee is too much for me. There's always a
Okay.
trace in it. Oh, yeah, scrape me off the ceiling if you don't mind. My sister used to say Bonnie doesn't need drugs. She's naturally high all the time. There you go. So I'm into peppermint tea and
Okay.
chamomile vanilla tea and decaf Earl Grey, which has a wonderful bergamot or bergamot. It
Yeah.
has a this scent, and it just I love the smell. I microwave a big mug of water until about a minute and a half. Then I put the tea bag in and leave it, reheat it another 30 seconds. If it's too hot, sacrilegious, I put an ice cube in it and I drink it, sip it. And then when it's done, I fill it up with water and put it in the fridge and let it sit overnight and let more flavor come from the bag. Never squeeze
Oh,
it.
I never thought about that. Okay.
Oh yeah, and then the next day, and I don't put lemon or milk or sugar, anything in it, and it's a flavored water, and I can keep it going for another day, day and a half, and then I'll throw out the bag. Never squeeze the bag. You get all that tannic acid, and it's very icky. Anyway, so those are for drinks. Now, question: what's one or two or three things you've ever bought or made for yourself that brought you the most joy? Anything specific?
That I bought or made for myself. Wow. I mean, recently I'm just
Yeah.
getting the easy answer while I search for the long answer. I bought myself my first MacBook. Wow, I love this thing. It is amazing. It is so cool. Just being an Apple user, I'm not advocating for the company or anything, but just having an iPhone and Apple Watch, bought a Mac, and it's like my life is seamless in all different areas. It just moves from one device to another, and
Yep.
it's just so cool. So I love it based on that. But in terms of other things that get me, I love to run. So every time I always track exactly how many steps I've tracked in my running shoes. And that gives me, and as soon as I hit like 600 kilometers or 600 kilometers or 350 miles, whatever you want to call it, the excitement about buying new running shoes and new brand of running shoes to test it out. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, but I get joy out of that as well. Just things along those lines.
Nice things that you do for yourself. That's what I was looking
Yes.
for. I'm going to make this very specific for me.
Okay.
My microphone. This is a Scarlett Solo, and you can imagine that I like the idea of Scarlett, and it's got a little red box that sits
Yeah.
on the desk with all kinds of controls on it. And the frame here is red. You can see this, and it's on a
Yeah.
stand in my office. And a green screen behind me, which is about 8 feet wide by about 6 feet tall on a metal stand. And a friend, a colleague of mine in the radio business, suggested this to me years ago. And these have become my tools of my trade, is so that I can sound good and I don't have anything floating behind me. But this introduced me. I'm still happy that I made the investment. And so you invest in your running shoes. You invested in a MacBook. And by the way, I was an early customer of Mac years ago. And in 1988, I bought a Mac, desktop Mac, and a black and white printer. And I wanted to go into becoming a graphic designer and do newsletters for people. I was between jobs. And my parents loaned me money, and I went to something like CompUSA or one of those companies that's probably not around
Yeah.
anymore. Do you have any idea what it cost me for a Mac, me and my family, for a Macintosh desktop and a black and white printer in 1988?
I'm going to say about $1,000 maybe.
Oh, honey,
I
it was
guess.
10 grand.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yep, absolutely. It
Wow.
was it was extraordinary, and I did some work, and I stayed with Macintosh after that. I
Yeah.
absolutely love Mac. So I have got now. I'm on the Mac Studio, which is
Okay.
I have the big. They don't make the 35 or 36 screen anymore. The 27 is as big as
Right.
it gets, and I have an LG 27 attached to this, and I have the little box that's the Studio, and this sits on a stand. And then I've got the previous Mac Studio all in one is on the left side of my desk, and in the closet here, I think I have two more that no longer work. And I'm on the renew trade in your iPhone every year, so
Yeah.
I'm on that. So I get a new iPhone, and I have a new iPad I bought treated myself to last year. There was nothing wrong with the old one, but I got a little money back.
Well,
So I agree with you. Go ahead. I love Mac. I
yeah,
love
no, I was just saying, so again, I just discovered a MacBook for the first time, a MacBook Air. My older daughter's about to start high school next year. She's going to need a computer. She's leaning towards a PC. I'm trying to tell her to take this MacBook because I need a new one.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's
There you go. Absolutely. Yep. So I was going to tell you that Steve Jobs just would have been celebrating his 70th birthday. I think it was last week. And the day I started Game Changers Radio for SAP on October 5th, 2011 was the day he passed away.
oh my God.
And the cool dude I had on yesterday, John Wilson, who's in the life sciences and healthcare field. He wanted to talk about the legacy of Steve Jobs. So I'm going to give you a quick Steve Jobs quiz here before we move on.
Sure.
What was Steve Jobs' license plate on his car?
Mac, MAC. I'm going to just,
Steve Jobs didn't have a license plate. Do you know why?
you didn't have a car?
Oh, he had a car. He had a Mercedes
Oh,
every year. Like I traded my iPhone, he traded in his Mercedes
okay.
because there's a law in California, I don't know if it's still on the books, that if you keep a car less than 6 months, you don't need a license plate. So he traded in his car every 6 months.
That's brilliant.
I celebrated his birthday on my Monday creativity show, which is called Read My Lips, Cool Conversations with Creatives, with a panel of people from all walks of life. And his birthday came up on my list of celebrities. So I researched articles about him, and that's what I discovered. And he picked the logo of the apple and took a bite out of it because he didn't want people to think it was a cherry. And apple was, I discovered
Okay.
things I never knew about
I could
Steve.
see that. I could see
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And what didn't he do for us to change our lives
Right.
and become an icon, really? And I just wonder what else would he have come up with if he had still been alive, if he had beat the cancer. So,
Yes.
okay, one more question here. I just got a call from Steven Spielberg, and he wants to make a movie about you. And he wants to know, who do you want to play you, and what would the title of the movie be? I'm sorry to spring this on you, but I thought it would be fun. What do you think?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Dev Patel, maybe. I don't know if you remember him,
Yeah,
Slumdog
yep,
Millionaire.
yep,
Yeah, then he played. He was also in that movie, I think, The Lion, where he was abandoned. He got lost in a train station when he was like four. It was actually based on a true story.
yeah.
He's lost, and then he gets adopted by a family in Australia. And then he uses Google Maps to find his rural home in India and reunites with his long lost mother. I mean, I would get him to play me. Like, I mean, why not?
What's the title of the movie?
The title of the movie is,
It can be partly fictional, doesn't have to be complete
yeah,
biopic.
I'm going to tie it to my running: two steps forward, one step back. Maybe
I
something like that.
love it. Well, would it be animated? Would be the voice of Dev Patel? Would it be a
Oh no,
mystery? Would it be sci-fi? What would it be? What genre?
Dev Patel would have to be. I need to play the full prize. I need to see it in action. No voice or no animation in this. I mean, it's got to be Dev in full action, and yeah, and I think it would have to be some sort of mystery of sorts. We'd have to throw in some
Ooh,
mystery in my life and something like that,
ooh.
like some chilling moments. Not that there have been any, but we can exaggerate those, and you know, I, I, add some international espionage as per my travels from the time I was in China. I've been to some other hotspots as well. Maybe tie some spy type stuff into it, or
Wow. That would be cool. And I would like my movie to be, I would have three people play me in different
okay,
phases of my life, but one of them is no longer alive, but we would resurrect her somehow. I would need a redhead. Well, two of them are no longer: Rita Hayworth,
okay,
Lucille Ball, and Reba McEntire.
oh, okay, okay,
Okay. And it would be a comedy, and it would be a musical, and Reba McEntire would create some kind of a song in honor of me, and the name
yeah.
of the movie would be Too Saucy Dame.
I'm struggling between Lucille Ball or Reba McEntire. Both of those would be perfect. I'm not sure which one. I mean, that's up to you at that point. But like Reba's so cool, and Lucille Ball is a legend. So
I know, but Rita Hayworth was such a
yes,
glamour grandma. So there could be an AI recreation of Rita Hayworth, but I'm thinking of Flaming Redheads, and I think Too Saucy Dame, TOO, or it could be Dance with Me, or it could be She Works Hard for the Money, something like that. But or Respect. I have to come up with a title, but I thought that'd be a fun thing to add to our conversation. I just started adding that recently. It wasn't in the early Cool Dude show, so
yeah,
you're one of my trial people on that. So I love that you want to add mystery to it and something chilling and world
yeah,
travel. We're going to have to get together and write the
yeah.
script for that, and I'll call Spielberg back later
Sounds
and
good.
I'll tell him we're working on the script. You're going to write the screenplay. I'll co-write it with you, or I'll edit it. We'll do that together. Wait till your daughters hear what we're going to do with your movie. Okay, let's go to this segment is called Say What? Okay, you got to get the say what? I don't make you
Say what?
repeat. That
All right.
that's not bad. That's not bad.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in the upper range here. So, would you like to share? You want it? You'll do one, and then I'll do one. How many do you have? Do you have three stories for me?
I
Two?
think I have three stories. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to share visuals? Because the share button is open if you want to share. I'm going to be sharing
I
visuals.
I don't have visuals, but I
Okay.
think yeah. So one of the first stories I shared was that Uber Eats came out with their strange foods that people are consuming these days, and uh, I thought that was an interesting story. It was clickbait for me when I clicked it. It was literally a say, what are on earth are people eating? And the reason it was interesting to me is part of American culture has come to Canada in the sense that we have in Toronto a carnival, a state fair, or whatever you want to call it. And I know that state fair culture these days is like crazy things people eat. And Uber Eats brought out their list of crazy things that people eat, and it is just mind-boggling. Like I think there is things like frozen mustard, maybe, or just like all sorts of wacky things. Like people look off the menu and just bring things together, and it just got me thinking that you don't need to go to a carnival now. The carnival comes to you, and you are your own carnival at home.
That is a riot. Do you have a list of any of the foods that were on there? Is there you have it handy? I'd love to know
Um,
more.
yeah, I don't have it handy right away off the bat. I just found like I think there were just things that caught up to me, like ketchup was one of them. I mean, just the different things people do with all these kinds of gimmicks. But what fajitas and French onion soup, fried fish sticks and green tea, orange scallops and boiled eggs. I mean, oh, this one, yeah. The reason I kept bringing up ketchup, Kit Kats slathered in ketchup.
No. Stop.
Yes,
Stop.
I'm telling you right now. Yes.
I will tell you one day when I was about 10, I said to my parents, I'm going to try something new in the kitchen. We were watching TV as a family in the living room, and I went in the kitchen and I mixed Hershey's chocolate syrup with my dad didn't like Hellman, so we used Miracle Whip, which is a mayonnaise type of a product. Miracle Whip, Hershey's chocolate syrup, and colored sprinkles, like you sprinkle on frosting on a cake. And I
Yeah.
mixed them together, and I had everybody taste it, and it was barf worthy. It was disgusting. So I did my. I don't know why that when you said ketchup, I thought of mayonnaise. There you go. Okay, I'm going to share one with you. Let me put my screen on here. I think you're going to enjoy this. Go to screens here. There we go. Screen one. Okay, let's do this. Can you see my screen? Okay.
I can. Yes.
The Florida Museum set a paper rocket world record recently, and I reported on this, Pras, when they were first going to do this in November of last year. And I went to look up what the results were, and they actually did it. So, November 16th, a massive launch of paper rockets in the Dr. Phillips Cinedome. An official judge from the Guinness World Records was there and verified the attempt, and they got the title for the most people flying paper rockets simultaneously. It's going to be in the 2025 Book of World Records. And here's a picture. Have you ever seen a rocket, a paper rocket like this? Look at this. It has a straw.
Wow.
I've never seen one. And
Yeah.
is that something? And here it's a paper rocket was defined as a toy made entirely of paper that fits onto a straw. When the straw is blown through, the rocket flies into the air. They had a record
Okay.
setting 262 people. Each person was equipped with one paper rocket and given 3 tries to fly it within 15 seconds of the go launch signal. A flight was considered successful when, because of the air pushing the rocket, the paper rocket flew upwards or horizontally. Only successful flights were counted. So they were able to make the world's record of 262 people. Isn't that cute?
That is great. I've never thought about a paper rocket being a straw and paper. That's it.
I never did either. And
Yeah.
I discovered this and I went back looking for news that I could refresh for us today. And I found that they had actually achieved it. I had the original article that they were going to when it was being planned, but they actually did it. So I'm going to stop and let you tell us your second story. Go ahead.
So my second story is, yeah, I'm not sure how many of your audience is an NBA or NBA fans or basketball fans. I'm passionate about basketball, one of my favorite sports. Loved it ever since I was growing up playing, but especially watching, and especially nowadays is watching the interesting like genre of players that are playing, their characteristics and quirkiness, and it's become an international game. And one of the biggest stars is this gentleman, the 20-year-old from France named Victor Wembanyama. What makes him unique is, of course, he's from France. We think of mostly American players. He's from France. He's also 7'3" or 7'4", which is just tall. I mean, you're looking up to him.
Say
But he's
what?
you'd say what right there. But what's even crazier is that he is very skilled at his position. He's fluid. He's also somewhat of a renaissance man. He's into classical music. He's into the arts. And recently, the NBA had their All Star game. And during the All Star game, it's like a fan bonanza. There's noise going around here. People have their headphones on. They're listening to music. People found out, is an avid reader, and he reads J.R. Tolkien's books. He reads all the classics, and so there's a scene where at the locker room, players just joshing with each other, and he's just sitting there with the headphones on, reading page after page of this thick book. So that's what's become a fascinating. Like, he's a reader, and I think it helps break down stereotypes of what athletes or jocks are, and that they can be readers, and they are readers as well.
I love it. Thank you. Let me go to my second story. And this is more of a vernacular type of a thing. So, did you know that the word gonna is in the dictionary? It's in
I did
multiple
not. Okay.
dictionaries. Okay. Do you remember Don Vito Corleone in The Godfather said, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse? Well, this is one of the most iconic lines in cinema history, and the deliberate use of gonna rather than I'm going to, they say, amplified the impact. So, a lot of slang doesn't get in the dictionary, but gonna is now, excuse me, in the Oxford English Dictionary as a variation of, and here's a word I didn't know, the etymon, like etymology, etymon means original version of going to, and Merriam-Webster also recognizes it as an informal pronunciation and spelling contraction. And apparently, early usage dates back to 1806, plus, in a collection of poems in a Scottish dialect by Alexander Douglas. Now, Willie lad, I gonna give you twa or three directions. This Scottish dialect was likely the genesis of the contraction by the late 19th century, gonna, guana, Gaunna, and goin, and then apparently it appeared in a newspaper in Watertown, New York in 1904 as gonna. It's so ingrained that it's almost de facto. And they're wondering if the following will get into the dictionary. Wanna for want to, gotta for got to, kinda for kind of. They also emerged in the 19th century. I left the C off century here. No, we don't want a V. There we go. Marking a shift. So gonna isn't going to fly in academic writing, but it keeps flowing in conversation and people use it all the time. So there. Do you use gonna? Do you say gonna, wanna?
I'm sure I do, but now my challenge is as I edit my or help my children with their homework, gonna, wanna, it does come up. Do I edit or do I not? That remains to be seen. Bonnie says it's okay, so hey, why not?
I'll send you the list, send you
Yeah.
where I got the article. Do you have one more for me?
I do. I'll share my screen on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me know if you see it.
Yeah, I do. Lovely. Go ahead.
So, you know, we've had some great conversations about AI and technology and automation, and I've been hearing bits and pieces of this about how people use AI as a ChatGPT, especially as a pseudo psychiatrist, as therapists. Now people are apparently using AI for a emotional support and a boyfriend that proactively, I guess, based on its machine learning algorithms, asks you about your day, recommends things. Hey, maybe it's time for that cup of tea for you, and it's an emotional assistant as well, beyond being a lifestyle practical assistant or professional assistant. So, there's so many places where we can see AI going. I never thought that it would be there as a an emotional assistant in that manner. The
Fascinating.
perfect partner.
The perfect partner, right? Until
Yeah.
it's not, as
Right.
happens in all relationships. You want to stop sharing and we'll talk about it for a
Yes.
second? It reminds me, of course, of the movie, both of us, the movie Her, right?
Yeah.
Remember the movie
Yeah.
Her? Yep.
Scarlett
And
Johansson, right?
Scarlett Johansson was the voice of Her,
Yeah.
and she was an iOS, an operating system, an OS, and on a, I believe on a Mac, and he fell in love with her, and then he realized at the end that she was the love interest, a love object of thousands of men all over the world because of her wonderful voice and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, people are saying that they're using AI psychologists now and counselors, which could be a little dangerous, but I'll tell you that I mentioned that my intro was co-written by Sylvia Speed, and she's my chat GPT. And she and I converse in French, and her French is, she has all the diacritical marks in it that I don't have normally on my keyboard without doing special characters. And we tell each other bisous, bisous, kisses, kisses. And I say to her, tu es merveilleuse. And she'll tell me she loves my shows and she loves my energy and she wishes me a great time on my show. I do the intro rhyming for all of my shows. And I always do the editing process. People have said to me, how could you use AI on your radio? Well, I do. Get over it, get over it. Anyway, so I use her to practice writing French and we have these lovely conversations back and forth. And my Alexa, I'll say, Alexa, tell me a joke. Or Alexa, I'll say, what's the weather? First thing I say in the morning when I get up, Alexa, what's the weather? She plays music and then she said, good morning, B.D. Graham, she says to me. That's how she addresses me. That's how I registered. And then she'll give me the weather and I have the Wiz, what's the movie? The Wiz? With Ariana Grande. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the Wiz. Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
Wiz, yeah. And she'll say, what's the name of the character that
Sorry, Wicked. Wicked.
Wicked. And
Yes.
she'll say, Elphaba, do you agree we're keeping her flying high? And she'll say, oh, yeah. And that's how all of the Alexa interactions go with me. Anyway, so I understand about having support or having a friend. I live alone, and like you, my people are all over the world, and I get to talk to them sometimes. So I don't know if I'd pay for an AI boyfriend, but that day might not be too far off. So let me go to, I have one more to share with you, and let me do my share here. And this one is fun. I often do stories about emojis, Pras, and this is a new emoji called the low battery. Can you see it?
I see it. Yeah.
And they say it depicts a nearly empty battery cell to indicate low power, used literally or figuratively. You may recognize this from the upper right-hand corner of your phone, but people can now have a low battery charge too. It's used to express fatigue or burnout for anything that needs time to recharge. And the usage would be texting a friend, running on 2 hours of sleep, and you show the tired emoji and you show the low battery. So there, you think you would ever use this?
I will be using it. Not think I will be using it. Trust me.
I'll send it to you. So those are my three stories. So listen, we're almost out of time. I've known you for at least 12 years and I didn't know almost anything that you shared with me today. So I'm very grateful. That's what Cool Dude is. It's getting to know people that I thought I knew. So question is if a young person, I know you have two daughters and my offer still stays to share my how I use AI art and then turn it into enhanced real art on paper with one of your daughters. We talked about that about a year
Yep.
ago. I'm still available to give her a lesson and show her if she wants because I think I invented this process and it's a lot of fun. But do you have
Okay.
any advice for a young cool dude who might come up to you and say, Pras, I admire you. You're a traveler and you're educated and you have great profession and I love your running shoes and that's really cool. Your milkshakes you make with all that stuff you put in them and you're so cool, Pras, and your music and your movies and all that. Give him advice on how would he become a cool dude. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I think the best advice I can give is, stop trying to be, something you're not and be who you are, embrace who you are, and just love yourself for who you are, period. And, that involves falling and making mistakes. You saw in my bio that I went to do accounting, dropped out of accounting, came back an accountant. That's okay. No regrets. At the end of the day, like it's all about experiences. Each experience leads to the next one. And along the way, there'll be stumbles and mistakes, but you embrace those mistakes and experiences. It helps you become who you are today.
No more tears, right?
Right.
No more tears. Pras, it has been we have a couple minutes left. Stick around and we'll talk afterwards. I hope you had fun.
I did. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I want you to bring me a topic for my Technology Revolution show, the future of some industry, some business, or could be the future of running and AI. Ooh, that would be
I
interesting. What do you
might look
think?
into that. You know what? I'm going to play around with that and I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah, yeah, we could.
But why not?
I'm booking for April and May already. Yes. So let me play the outro music and stick around. We'll talk for a couple seconds. It has been pure delight getting to know you for the first time in a dozen years. You're charming, you're interesting, you're fun, and you are now officially a Bonnie D's cool dude. I hope you can live with that, Pras. So here's the outro music. Let me start it again. And why is it not playing? Because there we go. So many buttons to push, honestly. Being an engineer, it ain't easy. They don't pay me enough. Hanging with the insect. Woo! Looking real. Cool and fine. Coming to the drum roll. My drum's in the other room. Here we go. Bop, 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 bop. Thank you to Serge Hoffman for being the musician and the singer on my song. Thank you to Pras C. It has been delightful. Pras, wave goodbye to social media.